The question that the Lord asked me, he said, you know, the Torah portion is called "And Yahweh appeared," but the question that he asked is, who appeared before me? Did you make yourself available to appear before me? So that's our question. The question that is before us is, who appeared? And you have to ask yourself that question. Have you ever appeared? Have you ever made yourself available to appear before the Lord in a way that is more than just going through the motions? As Jimmy so beautifully put it, you know, if you come to service and you are caught up in the emotion and you're caught up with everyone else worshiping, and then you go home and you don't teach your family to worship, then everything you have done is just pretending. One of the questions I asked myself when I began this Torah portion is, are our lives in the condition or state of condition just as our forefathers' lives were? Are we in the same state our forefathers were reading this Torah portion? Are we in that same state or that same condition? One of the other questions that I asked myself as I was preparing this Torah portion was, why did the Lord have to bring the plagues on Egypt? Why did the Lord have to bring these plagues on Egypt? Okay. Was the plagues for the Egyptians only, or were they for Israel, the Lord's own people? Okay, for the whole world. Okay.
He also says later that he's judging the so-called God's little g of Egypt.
Okay. He's judging the gods of the little gods. Okay.
And I didn't bring it with me, but in the Ryrie Bible that I bought, it's got a chart, each plague, which god of Egypt it challenged.
Okay. Okay.
And whether or not people of Israel were directly affected or not.
Okay. To the question, who appeared, let us examine the Word of God. Let's first ask ourselves this question. Do we want the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob to appear in our lives? Do we want him to appear in our lives? Or have we, like our forefathers, been engulfed by the land of Egypt? The next question I asked is, what can we learn from these plagues? What can we learn from these plagues? What is the lesson the Lord is trying to teach us through these plagues? Yes, we can go back and we can look in history and we can look at all the gods that the Egyptians worshipped. Yeah, we can see, you know, which plagues affected Egypt. I mean, Egypt and Israel. We can go back in history and look at that. But what can we learn today from these plagues? That's the question that's before us.
They made the people uncomfortable and ready to leave. And today, the kingdoms of the world that we don't put our faith in are crumbling, and it's making us uncomfortable. And when the time comes, I believe we'll be ready to leave.
One of the things we have to do, though, is we have to remember when all this comes upon us, we can't worry, we can't fret. We need to put our trust in Him and let Him lead us and guide us and direct us. Because I hear so many people worrying about this and worrying about that. Don't worry about it. Put it in His hands. Put our own selves in His hands. Let Him take care of us. That doesn't mean that we are to sit and do nothing. That means that we are to prepare, that we are to get ready for the battle that's coming. But the only way we can do that is through Him. We can't do it in ourselves. As we try to do it in ourselves, we're no different than Egypt.
Oh, good point.
Archie, it said that he hardened the heart of Pharaoh. So we can talk about our politicians as much as we want that we don't like, and we don't like these things that they're doing. But it very well could be that it's God's hand, and so that He can fulfill what it is that He needs to fulfill.
That's
Yes.
a very good point. In fact, the people of Egypt had trouble with Pharaoh. You'll read it in the next section. They're telling him, this is God. Again, even in this section.